my name is Mark Okkerse with M&S Aviation Services, and today I'd like to introduce you to a new offering that we have in November 717 Charlie Whiskey. 717 Charlie Whiskey is a 2001 Lancair Columbia 300. It's a two-owner plane, and it is a very well-equipped aircraft with a lot of benefits and a lot of efficiency and great performance for the money. The Lancair 300s were the initial offering for the Lancair Columbia Certified Aircraft Company, and the aircraft came out of the factory with a 310 horsepower actually, continuous duty IO 550N engine with a tuned intake and tuned dual exhaust, with a Hartzell 3-blade propeller, and these aircraft will cruise at 180 to 185 knots. This particular plane here was bought by a dealer, original dealer, back in when it was brand new from Minnesota. He's now retired, and he flew the plane personally. We sold the aircraft back 2 years ago to a customer of mine, and that customer has gone through this airplane and upgraded the avionics and the amenities in the aircraft greatly. As you'll see from the aircraft cosmetically, this plane is almost near perfect. It's got a unique paint job on it. It's actually, from the looks on the camera, it'll probably look a little green, but it's actually gray, a metallic gray with a gold stripe. It's absolutely stunning as far as the cosmetics are concerned. The plane has had an awesome pedigree. It's always been hangared, always been taken care of, and we should take a look at some of the other amenities on the plane. As I stated, this particular aircraft is loaded with all the amenities you could get for the year, such as the speed brakes. Speed brakes, although not necessarily needed for the aircraft, really help you when you're coming into the approach for your airport, or if you're coming down through the clouds, to slow this plane down. It's a very fast plane. Once again, I told you it cruises about 180 knots, and slowing the plane down can be a little bit of a challenge at times. Once again, with the speed brakes, it really helps that situation out. The Lancair Columbias, by design, were a new aircraft design, airframe design, I should say. A lot of the old aircraft that we have out there have 35 to 50-year-old airframe designs because it costs a great deal of money to bring a new aircraft to certification. Part of what the Lancair Columbia was designed to do was to not only be a very fast aircraft, but also to be a very docile aircraft in the stall. Because of the wing design, with the wing cuff design over here, where you see the outer part of the wing sticking out a little bit further with a negative angle of attack, or camber if you will, the aircraft is actually designed to be FAA certified spin resistant. When you take the Lancair Columbia up into a stall, the root area of the wing will stall first, and the wingtips will keep on flying, which makes it very docile. The plane just does not want to fall off into a spin. The Lancair Columbias were designed by sport pilots and sport engineers born out of the Lancair Kit Company, and hence the new design of the wing was designed to utility category parameters. This wing is a one-piece wing with dual carbon fiber spars in it. It's been tested to over 18.5 Gs. It's a one-piece wing, so there's not two wings joining in the middle. So the aircraft is built tough. The baggage area on the Columbias are very roomy. It'll hold 120 pounds of baggage. You have your main baggage area, and then if you look to the rear, you have a hat shelf that'll hold 20 pounds. To give you an idea of practical use, my wife and I will put our cooler in there, we'll put our duffel bags in there. We have a boat, so we'll go to our boat. We'll put our duffel bags, our computers, or we can just load that thing up with everything you could have. I have put four people in the aircraft, 4 duffel bags in the aircraft, and actually 4 sets of golf clubs laid horizontally across the top. In addition, the rear seat backs will pop out. You can see the pins there that can come out, and you can actually turn the Columbia into a station wagon. 717 Charlie Whiskey comes with a set of cowl plugs. A custom aircraft cover for covering the canopy is included as well. So when you do that off-airport weekend jaunts, you can cover up your aircraft and keep the interior nice and cool and protected. One other nice amenity that November 717 Charlie Whiskey has is it has a full Tannis heater setup. So you notice the plug-in here, so you just, if it's cool in the winter, you just plug your plane in. It's going to warm your engine up and keep your engine nice and toasty, so you'll be able to fire a nice warm engine up on those cold days. The interior on this aircraft is in excellent condition. There are no rips, no scratches. The seats are very clean. The carpet is in beautiful condition. Just a wonderfully maintained aircraft. As I said before, 717 Charlie Whiskey is a very loaded up aircraft. Just look at this beautiful panel. If you look on the left side of the panel here, you have all of your analog engine gauges. We have our left and right fuel quantity. We have wet tanks here. The plane has 98 gallons of usable fuel, and we switch from our left to our right tank. Then your next down you have your vacuum gauge. The only instrument in this aircraft that's powered by the vacuums is your attitude indicator. Everything else is electric in this aircraft. On the right side of the gauge you have your amp gauge for your battery draw. And then down below we have our engine temperature and our oil pressure. Up top we have our manifold pressure and our fuel flow. RPM is right below that. And below that, this aircraft is equipped with the optional JPI engine monitor system. If we look over to the left, this aircraft has active traffic on it, and you can switch the traffic on and off if you so desire. Up top, the plane also has GPS steering, so we switch between heading or GPS mode. On the center panel, you're going to have your Davtron clock and your timers and whatnot built in. We have our airspeed indicator, and the airspeed indicator also has the Coleman window, so you can dial in what your your outside air temperature and your altitude and get your true airspeed. Remember, these Columbias fly 180 to 185 knots in normal cruise. Usually you can dial them up and get the plane up to 190 knots of true airspeed. Turn coordinator is down below. Your annunciator for what you're using as far as your autopilot is concerned is up top here. All the way up top we can switch between flight director mode, autopilot, and flight director showing up on your attitude indicator, your autopilot only mode, and of course you can flip your autopilot off. We also have an off switch over here for our autopilot, on or off over here. In the center panel we have the attitude indicator with a flight director, which will come up if we put the autopilot on, and then you have a KCS 55 HSI, the top of the line as far as HSIs are concerned, and this is driven off of your #1 GPS coordinate in Navcom. We have an altitude pre-select built into this plane, so we can pre-select our altitude that we're going to come to, and so if we want to go to 3,000 feet, I put 3,000 feet in there, and then I decide what I want to go to as far as my vertical climb rate is concerned, and I hit the autopilot, and it's going to climb up to 3,000 feet at 700 feet per minute and level right on off. Below that we have our altimeter, and then below that our vertical speed indicator. We have a #2 OBS indicator here, which is driven from our #2 radio and Navcom.